Hello my dear students and welcome to the new lesson. So in this lesson we are going to learn about the mathematical functions. So besides the mathematical operations like addition, subtraction or multiplication, you can have some other mathematical functions to be carried out in your program. So like sine function or tan function, or you have to calculate the square root of a number. So for that, for calculating some trigonometric calculation or some other mathematical calculation, we are having the mathematical functions in C language. All of these functions are defined in math.h header file. So if we are using these mathematical functions, so you must include math.h in your program. So let us learn these functions one by one. Firstly, consider here the first function, which is the ceil function. So this syntax of this ceil function is like this: ceil, and in bracket you have to write the number which you want to ceil. So what do you mean by this ceil? Actually, this function rounds up the given number. So this number will be rounded up to the value which is equals to the integer value which is greater than or equal to the given number. So that means, for example, consider here, from example you will be very clear. So firstly consider this ceil of 4.6. So this number can be anything. So this ceil function will return the integer value which is greater than this number. So the value greater than this integer value greater than this 4.6 is 5. So hence ceil of 4.6 will return 5. So similarly this ceil of 4.1 will return again next integer number which is greater than this number is the 5 value. So this ceil of 4.1 will return value 5, and similarly this ceil of minus 4.6, it will return the integer value which is greater than or equals to this value. So value greater than integer value greater than minus 4.6 is minus 4. So hence this function will return value minus 4. So simply this is a very simple function. सील फंक्शन आपने जो भी नंबर ब्रैकेट में लिखा है उस नंबर से ग्रेटर इंटीजर नंबर रिटर्न करेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इफ यू राइट सील ऑफ 1.7, so it will return 2. if you write 1.2, then it will also return 2. so जो भी इंटीजर ग्रेटर नंबर है इस नंबर से जो ग्रेटर नंबर है वो ग्रेटर नंबर ceil function return karega. So this is a ceil function. So similar to this function is again a floor function. So it is similar to this function, but there is difference that, so this function will return the integer value which is less than or equal to the given number. So जो भी आपने ब्रैकेट में वैल्यू दी है उससे छोटी इंटीजर वैल्यू रिटर्न होगी. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल फ्लोर ऑफ 1.7 will return the value less than integer value which is less than 1.7 which is equals to 1. So hence floor of 1.7 will return 1. Similarly floor of 1.1 will also return value 1. And floor of minus 1.7, the value which is less than this minus 1.7 is minus 2. So hence floor of minus 1.7 will return value minus 2. So this is about the floor function. So next function which we want to study is the sqrt function. So as its name suggests, this sqrt returns the square root of a number which you will specify in a bracket. So for example, this sqrt of 25 will return value 5.00. So this value, this function will return the float type of value. So obviously square root of any number will be float type. So for example, if you write sqrt of 50, then it will return the square root of 50 value. So this function is used to calculate the square root of a number. The next function which is we are going to study is the POW function. So as its name suggests, this POW function will return the power of a number. So for example, its format is like this: POW in bracket base comma exponent. So to calculate, suppose you want to calculate power of, suppose you want to calculate 3 raised to the power 2, then you have to use 3 comma 2. Suppose you have to calculate 2 raised to the power 9, then you have to write here 2 comma 9. So for example, here consider power of 2 comma 5. So POW of 2 comma 5 will return 2 raised to the power 5, which is equals to 32.00. So this function is used to calculate the rest to the power. The next function we are going to learn is ABS. So this ABS function will return the absolute value of a given number, and we know that absolute value of a number, whether it is positive or negative, absolute value of that number is a positive number. So here for example, ABS of minus 10 will return value 10, and ABS of 10 will also return 10. So that means if you want to translate a number into positive number, then you will be using the ABS function. Then the next are the trigonometric function, which is cos function, sine function, and the tan function. So you well know this function cos, what is meant by cos, what is meant by sine, and what is meant by tan. So if you want to calculate either sine, cos, or tan, you have to use this function. So the format of this function is like this. If you want to calculate the cos of any angle, then you have to write like this, cos and in bracket that angle. But you have to be very careful while using these all the three function, is that the angle which you are writing here must be in radians and not in degrees. So just for example, consider here, if you want to calculate cos of 90, generally we will be using the angle in degrees. So if you want to calculate cos of 19, then you can write it like here cos of 90, but it will be wrong, because in the all these three functions, cos, sine and tan, this angle must be in radians. So that means if you write cos of 90, then it will return cos of 90 radians, which is equals to minus 0.44, and not will return cos of 90 degree. So if you want to calculate the cos of degrees, then you have to convert degrees into radians. So you know that the degree can be converted to radian by simply multiplying by pi by 180. So if you want to calculate cos of 90 degree, then you have to write like this, cos of 90 multiplied by 3.14, or you can write here the complete value of pi. So I simply have written here up to 2 decimal places. So here value of pi divided by 180. So cos of 90 will be calculated, cos of 90 degree will be calculated with this conversion. So cos of 90 multiplied by 3.14 by 180, it will return the value 0.00. So here the value 796 is, यहाँ पे 796 आया है क्योंकि I have written only the value of pi up to 2 digits. So if you write the complete value of pi up to 15 digits or 16 digits, then it may be rounded up to 0.0000. So this is the cos function. And similarly, if you want to calculate the sine of a degree, then you have to use the sine function. And here also the angle must be in degrees. That means if you want to calculate sine of 90, then you have to write sine of 90 multiplied by pi by 180. So which will be equals to 1.0000. So similarly, if you want to calculate the tan of a angle, then you have to write tan. Here I have calculated tan of 45, which will be equals to tan of 45 multiplied by pi by 180. So which will be equals to 0.9999. So that is equivalent to value 1. So this is about the trigonometric function, that is cos, sine and tan function. So let us consider the next function, which is the exp function. So this function returns the value of e raised to the xth power. So that means if you write exp of 1, then it will return value of e raised to the power 1. If you write exp of 2, then it will return value e raised to the power 2. So here for example, consider if I write exp of 1, which is equals to e raised to the power 1, and it returns the value of e, that is 2.718282. So this is the exp function which is used to calculate e raised to the power. The next function we are going to learn is the log function, which is used to calculate the natural logarithm, which is to the base e. So if you write log of 90, then it will return the value 4.499810. So similarly, if you want to calculate log of any value, then you have to write the function, or you have to use the function which is the log function. And the next function here is the f mod function, which is written like this: f mod in bracket x comma y. So this function will return the remainder part of x divided by y. So this function, or this functionality is already available with the modulus operator. But the difference between modulus and this f mod function is that the modulus operator is always used with only the integer values. But this f mod function can be used to calculate the remainder part of the real division also, or the real number also. So let us consider one example here. So first example here is the f mod of 90 comma 12. So of course 90, remainder part of 90 divided by 12 is equals to 6.00. So hence the f mod of 90 comma 12 will return value 6.00. And you can use this function with float values also, like here. So here I have used f mod of 1.2 comma 0.7. So whatever remainder part of 1.2 divided by 0.7, so you can divide the value 1 point by 0.7, and after dividing these two numbers, the remainder that will be there is 0.5. So hence f mod of 1.2 comma 0.7 is equals to 0.5. So that are all about the mathematical function that we will be using in our C program.